Coming up on SBU-TV, Walkable Olean is up and running, and local baseball players give their opinions on the World Series. Welcome to SBU-TV. I'm Nate Discavage.
And I'm Chris Gilbert. The constant construction is finally out of downtown Olean, and the city's mayor couldn't be happier with the results. The Walkable Olean project is completed, and Mayor Billy Olio couldn't be any happier with the final product.
It's been a very successful project. You know, there's been a lot of controversy over the roundabouts. We took out 5 red lights and put in 5 roundabouts on Union Street here. We had to design Wayne Street roundabout and the Main Street roundabout so that Dresser could ship their trucks. And that was done in such a way, we're working with Dresser, who was on board, you know, every inch of the way.
The project achieved its goals it set out to do when it was first proposed in September 2011.
We needed the infrastructure, the new road, and as part of that project, part of the money that we got, we had to put the roundabouts in and bike lanes. So that has all that goal has been met.
Even though the Walkable Olean project is completed, Mayor Olio says that downtown Olean isn't done growing just yet.
Put in for a permanent farmers market, and we've selected a site near the tracks on North Union Street. So we need a new city garage. The one that we have now is deteriorating and needs major workup. So we thought it'd be a good idea to free up that land for development in our downtown area and then move the city garage to another location. So we've got grants in for that. If we're successful in getting them, then we'll move forward with those projects.
Olio, who was born and raised here in Olean, is overjoyed with the success of the project and can't wait to move forward his hometown even more. For SBU-TV, I'm Chris Gilbert. The ribbon-cutting ceremony for the project was this past Friday, and it marked the official end of the construction.
As the Major League Baseball season winds down, I talked to local baseball teams about the World Series.
With the 2016 World Series already underway, members of the St. Bonaventure baseball team have split their support between both the Cleveland Indians and the Chicago Cubs. Head coach Larry Studbrook is a huge Indians fan and hopes his team is able to win the series.
I would like the Cubs to win a World Series too, just not this one. When they lost their number 2 pitcher and their number 3 starting pitcher, they shouldn't have beat the Red Sox and they swept them. They shouldn't have beat the Blue Jays and they beat them 4-1.
Scott Yerge, a recent transfer to St. Bonaventure, is such a huge Cubs fan that he actually left before we were able to do our interview to go to Game 3 in Chicago. Yerge grew up about a half an hour outside of Chicago and has been a diehard Cubs fan his entire life. He said that he believes the Cubs will sweep the next 3 games and clinch the World Series at home on Sunday. Junior Cole Peterson, an Indians fan, sympathizes with the Cubs' playoff drought, but that won't bring him any closer to rooting for them.
Like anyone but the Cubs, you know, everyone's pulling for the Cubs because they've got the longest streak here since 1908, and then Cleveland's the second, but everyone's pulling for the Cubs right now because it's been such a long drought for them.
Senior Danny Urban sees a direct comparison between the 2016 Cleveland Indians and the current St. Bonaventure baseball team.
You know, the budget and revenue and things like that are going to play an impact on the type of talent you can bring in, but similar to them, they've drafted well, they've developed their talent well. They weren't great a few years ago. Neither we were dead last in the conference, I want to say, and then. But, you know, obviously, you know, your coach has recruited well and has brought in guys like this guy, so hopefully, you know, we can kind of play similar to how they've done.
For SBU-TV, I'm Nate Discavage.
The series is currently tied 1-1 with Game 3 tonight in Chicago.
Tried to avoid some of the toil and trouble this Halloween? Leanne Bunny has the story.
Trick or treat or treachery? With Halloween quickly approaching, everyone planning on going out to celebrate the holiday should get refreshed on a few safety tips. Safety and security worker Diana Calhoun says more officers are usually on campus for Halloween.
You really don't know what to expect, but in the past, Halloween has been pretty good.
Calhoun adds college students should trust their instincts. If something doesn't feel right, then be cautious. The American Academy of Pediatrics posted a list of safety tips. Parents and/or responsible adults should always accompany young kids. All groups should have flashlights with fresh batteries. If older children are going alone, plan and review the route that is acceptable to their parents and have a set time to be home. Stay on well-lit streets and always use sidewalks. Review with kids how to call 911 in case of an emergency or getting lost.
Careful consideration can also go into selecting a costume.
And if you do go out, I always think, please wear reflective clothing. Anything that you can see, because you're going to be out there in the dark.
The Academy encourages people to choose costumes and shoes that fit well to prevent tripping. By keeping these tips in mind, Halloween is more likely to be sugar and spice and everything nice. With SBU-TV, I'm Leanne Bunny.
For more Halloween safety tips, visit www.aap.org.
Next week, Sammy Arena is headed to the new distillery in Ellicottville. Here's a little teaser for you guys.
Looks like an apple a day has done a little growing up. The new Ellicottville distillery is bringing a unique spirit to its products. Tune in next week to find out more about this innovative new establishment. For SBU-TV, I'm Sammy Arena.
Well, I certainly can't wait to hear more.
October is Sudden Infant Death Awareness Month. Brittany Slamba reports.
Better known as SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome is the sudden, unexplained death of an infant less than 1 year of age. Robin Bennett, director of Child Time Learning Center, said the biggest way to prevent SIDS is to simply be aware of what it is.
Making parents aware, making parents realize that, there's certain ways that the baby needs to sleep, there's certain environment that the baby needs to be in order to help prevent it.
Luckily, there are precautions that can be taken to help prevent SIDS, so infants can grow into healthy babies, just like Allie.
The most common thing to prevent SIDS is laying the baby on the back. I cannot stress that enough. Another thing is never place a baby with you in bed. That's also a huge leading cause of SIDS.
First-time mother Megan Young talks about the precautions she took with her 10-month-old daughter, Allie, to help prevent SIDS.
We used a pacifier, which keeps them, sucking throughout the night, and that helps them breathe as well. We kept her in our bedroom so that she was nearby, and we also kept the temperature between 65 and 70 degrees so that she wouldn't get too hot.
Just making sure that before that parent leaves the hospital on how important it is that they're aware of what SIDS is, how to prevent it, and just making sure that they know everything that they can possibly know.
For SBU-TV, I'm Brittany Slamba.
Unfortunately, SIDS is the cause of more than 2,000 infant deaths in the U.S. every year.
Go Bonnies, go Bonnies, go! St. Bonaventure had its annual fan jam this past Saturday. Sammy Arena has the story.
The Bonnies are back and ready for their big screen debut. As the Riley turned 50 years old, the community filled the bleachers and came to celebrate. There have been many new additions to the Riley this year. A new paint job, a new video board, and even some new fans. The celebrations also included performances by some of Bonaventure's clubs, the hip-hop team, the step team, and the cheerleading squad. This fan jam really pumped up the crowd for this upcoming season. Here's some words to remember from two of our new players.
Come out and support. Come out and support. Get loud. Yeah, get loud. Get some dubs. Get some wins.
For SBU-TV, I'm Sammy Arena.
The Bonnies are set to play their first home game on November 12th versus St. Francis University, so mark your calendars.
Changes are coming to University Ministries on campus. Ethan Kippy will tell you more.
As construction moves along on the new University Ministries building, new details continue to emerge about the structure. Executive Director of University Ministries, Father Francis Despino, says the McGinley-Carney Center for Franciscan Ministry will remain dedicated to Catholic causes and images.
In the front of the building there will be a sign that says the McGinley-Carney Center for Franciscan Ministry, and juxtaposed to that will be this Tau cross.
However, Despino says University Ministries needs to serve people of all faiths.
We have people of other faiths that want to be connected to their faith. And yes, part of our ministry is also to be aware of and care for them as well.
Despino says a room in the new center will be non-denominational and allow people of all faiths to practice as they see fit.
The Interfaith Prayer Tower is our opening and our exposure to people of other faiths. It's not that it means that Catholics and Christians can't worship in it, and we will, but it is a space that is open to people of all faiths.
As for the Merton Center, it's just been moved, Despino says. The term Merton Center now refers to the university's collection of the monks' works.
The Thomas Merton Center will be housed within the library.
For SBU-TV, I'm Ethan Kibbe.
The center will be ready to open in February.
They're creepy and they're kooky, mysterious and spooky. They're St. Bonaventure's hip-hop team. Natalie Kuchko has more.
Students at St. Bonaventure University celebrated Halloween early this year. The SBU hip-hop team brought a festive production to campus on Wednesday. Intense choreography wowed the sold-out audience. The dancers provided inspired pieces from classic Halloween programs like Hocus Pocus, The Addams Family, and Michael Jackson's Thriller. I spoke with team captain and Bonaventure sophomore Sarah Koning about her experience.
We worked a lot. We usually work twice a week, but then we upped it to almost every single day. So, and then towards the end, we were working 5 hours a day and stuff. So it was nice.
Koning's boyfriend Brian Pulley attended the show both in support of her and his best friend Andrew.
Well, I think it means a lot to them knowing that I support them and because they support me when I play my sport or baseball. So I think give back and show them doing hip hop.
The show took months to put together. Dancers committed hours of tireless work to the production on top of hectic homework demands.
They were very helpful. They understood when you couldn't make a practice or you got sick or you had class. They were very understanding. They helped us completely if we didn't know what we were doing, and I think it came together really well.
The hip-hop team included a routine about the 80s called classic Beetlejuice. And another dance inspired by the 70s horror film Carrie. Overall, the crowd thoroughly enjoyed this performance, and the team looks forward to filling over 200 seats again.
For SBU-TV, I'm Natalie Kuchko.
The hip-hop team plans to perform at basketball games throughout the season, with special appearances and shows at the Quick Center for the Arts.
Find out what everyone's been buzzing about recently on campus? Katie Brown has a story.
This week, St. Bonaventure's Latino American Student Organization, also known as LASSO, sold pure wildflower honey, raising roughly $300 in revenue. Mark Phillips, HEOP academic specialist, donated his locally grown honey to LASSO based on the club's convictions.
I think it's a worthwhile organization. It promotes pride. It's an educational organization, and it does that in a time when there seems to be a lot of bigotry toward Hispanics.
The honey was so popular that LASSO sold up to 70 jars over the past few days, sometimes even selling out. At $4 a jar, that's quite a profit.
This is good honey. I mean, it's local honey. It's wildflower honey. It's not over-processed, just filtered and bottled. It's kind of a unique honey to pick. It's hard to get this unless you go right to a beekeeper. I think that's why.
For SBU-TV, I'm Catherine Brown.
100% of the proceeds went to LASSO. For more information about the honey, visit Mark Phillips in room 209A in the Riley Center.
So, Chris, you ready for Game 3 tonight?
Oh, yes, I am, my friend. Oh, yes, I am. Go Cubbies.
Go Indians.
It's so crazy that we have two rivals sitting next to each other today.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. But that's all for us here today at SBU-TV. To see any stories you may have missed, check out our YouTube channel. I'm Nate Discavage.
And I'm Chris Gilbert. Stay tuned for the Wolfpack Report coming up next.
Welcome to the Wolfpack Report. I'm Mike DeSanto.
And I'm Ryan Conahan. Today I will be speaking with my younger brother and freshman soccer player, Aiden Conahan.
And I'll be talking with women's swimmer, Devin McFadden.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. Today we are joined by my younger brother and freshman soccer player, Aiden Conahan. Aiden, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, really appreciate it.
So, how did you end up here at Bonaventure all the way from Manalapan, New Jersey?
Well, I've been immersed in this Bonaventure culture for years now. My uncle's a graduate of here. He obviously managed the basketball team, so came up for a visit about 1.5 years ago, and I fell in love with the school and the soccer program.
It's awesome. So, how are you enjoying the experience so far? You know, getting up for practice and class and balancing it all, because I know it's not easy, the life of a student athlete.
Yeah, it's tough, but you know, you make the sacrifice. That's what you have to do to be a student athlete. You got to put school and sports together and make sure you keep your grades up and compete at a high level in your game.
So the last couple seasons for the Bonaventure soccer program haven't been great. They've only had 3 wins over the past 2 seasons. But this year we've seen a bit of a reemergence with we've already 4 wins, 3 in conference with 2 games to go. What do you think is the cause of this?
Well, I can't speak for the years in the past, but I believe our team has really great chemistry. You know, at the start of the season, our chemistry was not so great, but I believe getting into A10 play, our games and our play improved. Our coach kept getting on us, making sure we're playing our best game possible. And I really think that Davidson game where we got our first conference win really set up to put us in great place for the A10 playoffs.
Definitely. So for the first time in about 6 years, the Bonnies are in the running to make the A10 tournament. You guys just need to buckle down your last few games. Do you think you guys will be able to make it?
I absolutely think we can. I mean, the A10 is a very tough league to be in, and I think if we get a result at Fordham and a couple of results go our way, I believe that we'll be in the A10 tournament. And I believe we have a good enough squad to go far in the A10 tournament.
That's great to hear. Thanks for joining us today. Really glad to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
I'm here with Devin McFadden of the women's swim team. Devin, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Doing very well. So you guys are 2-2 so far this season through your first 4 meets. So what's contributed to the team's success?
Definitely a different type of training this year. We're much more detail-oriented, less with, we call it garbage yardage. So we do more short quality work and less kind of long quantity work, and I think that has to do a lot with our success so far this season.
Okay, and does any of that have to do with having a new head coach, Brian Thomas?
Oh, yes, absolutely. He's definitely come in with an agenda, and he's very organized and knows exactly what he wants to do this season, and so far that's really paid off.
All right, and you know, aside from the new head coach, what other things make this team different than maybe some other teams you've been on?
It's definitely a different atmosphere. I think we all get along better. It's hard to say, but I just think that it's a great group of girls, and we all really have each other's backs, and we're all much more driven this year and more positive and motivated than we probably have been in years past.
Okay. And speaking of the team's drive this season, sort of some driving forces that you may have, I know you were named a team captain before the season, so what does that mean to you?
It's a lot of responsibility. I was honored, obviously, but for me, I think my part is to just kind of do my role and to be a good role model and to kind of just look out for people when they need me, but other than that, just lead by example. So just put in the work every day and hopefully others will follow you.
And one of the other honors you've gotten so far this season has been last week's Female Athlete of the Week on Go Bonnies. So what did that mean to you?
Also very honored. I swim with amazing other women, so for me to get it, I was just very happy with that. But it's cool, but I got to keep going, keep up the good work, I guess.
And my last question is, going into this weekend, you guys are going to the A10 quad meet. What's your outlook on the meet? How do you think the team's going to do?
I think we're going to do very well. We've been training really well this week. We're very specified on what we're doing and how we're going to go in looking for this meet, and I think that it will pay off hopefully at the end of this weekend. But yeah, we're definitely trying to get up more on the top of our conference, so we'll see how we do.
All right, well, good luck in that meet, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Have a great day.
We'll be right back on the Wolfpack Report. We have a lot of Bonnies action coming up. I know the basketball teams start next weekend. We have the men's soccer team trying to make the A10 playoffs.
Yeah, the basketball team starts off their season next week with Alfred University. Women's basketball plays right before them with Gannon University. Soccer's got a game coming up against their last conference game coming up against Fordham, as well as the Atlantic 10 Cross Country Championships down in Richmond this weekend.
We'll see if our team, men's and women's team, can go out there and get themselves an A10 championship.
Without a doubt.
Well, that's all for us here in the Coop Lab at the Wolfpack Report. I'm Mike DeSanto.
And I'm Ryan Conahan.
Thanks for watching, guys.